Hi, Jeff Hoagland of the Watershed Institute, out on a beautiful spring day. Today I'm celebrating by embracing our river-friendly practices. More specifically, I'm looking at wildlife enhancement in my little yard in Hopewell. I'm going to take a quick tour of some of the birdhouses that we have here in our yard. Got a number. We've got about 1/3 of an acre and actually have had 10 different houses up. You can buy or make a variety. Here is a gourd, which you could grow yourself, or you can buy. This gourd was home to a house wren, and since then it's been enhanced by a squirrel. I don't really know what he was thinking. You can buy things that look more traditional like houses. Here's another birdhouse that was purchased way up there. Chickadee moved in there. Not this year, previously. Here's a house that's getting some attention this year. The house wrens have just come back, and if you look carefully, you can see some nesting material dangling from the opening there. So Mr. Wren is starting a nest there. He'll show it off to a prospective mate. If she likes it, they're in business. If not, well, that's sadness for him. Here's another tree with a house. This house, we had a box up here that had a screech owl in it once, and this house, I don't know who was in here last year, but you can see a squirrel has chewed on the top of that. Over on the pin oak, another house. And there are several more in this yard that we have made. And that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna teach you how to make a birdhouse, teach you what's important about it. I've got my trusty assistant. Actually, he's not the assistant, he's the birdhouse builder. That's Emerson. Turn around and wave so they see a face. All right. Here's a couple houses he previously built, some from wood from his Taekwondo black belt tests. And so in a moment, we'll take a look at how you at home can build a birdhouse. All right, I'm back, and let's take a moment to think about why we're doing this. First of all, it's just fun to invite wildlife into your backyard. Who doesn't like viewing it? But why is this a river-friendly practice? Well, enhancing the habitat that we have in our backyard, whether it be through native plantings or inviting native wildlife, helps increase biodiversity. Biodiversity, of course, is an indicator of a healthy habitat. So, and healthy habitats are something we want all around us, right? So we are going to build a house for some birds who like to nest in hollows. Not all birds do nest in hollows. Maybe you've seen a robin in your yard, for instance. They build a mud nest and put it on a branch. So most birds adopt that strategy. They build a nest of some sort and place it in some of the plants nearby. So we're aiming in particular for what are known as cavity nesting birds, birds who nest in hollows. And since we typically don't allow dead trees with hollows to stand in our yards, putting up a house can help. So there's all kinds of birds who rely on hollows. Some of them are bigger, like wood ducks and mergansers, kestrels, and swallows. We have bluebird houses all over the Watershed Reserve. But suburban backyards are a great place for other types of cavity nesters, such as wrens and chickadees and titmice and woodpeckers. So you have to think about what kind of habitat you have and what type of birds you might be able to attract. Once you identify that, you want to look up the specifications for the house that you want to build. And in particular, what's important typically on those is the size, the area of the floor. How big is the floor of the house? How high up is the hole from the bottom of the house? And what is the diameter of the hole? Those are specifications that are probably more important. With a bird like a wren, they're pretty flexible. House wren will nest in anything. I've seen house wren nests in paint cans, in an old boot. I had house wrens nest in my shorts. That sounds like a joke. It wasn't. And no, I wasn't wearing them. So let's take a look. What do you need to do this? We've got a few tools out here today. We have a choice. well, let's back up. We need some sort of saw. We're going to use my father's old saw, a crosscut saw, to cut into the lumber we have. We need to put the pieces of wood together in some fashion. So I've got either nails, which I don't think we'll use. I've got wood screws we will use. Oh yeah, how did we figure out, how did we measure the wood? We used a tape measure and we used a pencil to mark it. If we were going to nail it or glue it, we would need these clamps here. Don't think we'll use those. We're gonna use a drill with the screws. You could use a screwdriver. Again, if you use the nail, you'd want the hammer. So I'm gonna get rid of some of these tools. Oh, here's an important one. Safety goggles, right? So, oh, and a square, so we can make square lines as we measure things out. Emerson has measured things out. We've just chosen scrap lumber. We didn't head off to Home Depot. And we've got a piece of shelving. This is a 1x8. And Emerson has measured, what do we have here? This is the
back of the birdhouse, the front of the birdhouse, and this is approximately the top. This will be the bottom, and these two will be the sides. Okay,
so these are literally scraps of wood we had here. So on our website, we'll have specifications for different species, but today we're gonna make more of a generic house that's set for you know, the house wren, our kind of suburban backyard songster. All right, we're gonna get started. All right, Emerson is doing a good practice here. It's called measure twice, cut once. So he's just double checking this. This is the top. We realized actually that we didn't calculate to have an overhang, and that was our choice. We wanted an overhang. So he's remeasured using a square and a pencil to draw the line. And he's about to cut this piece of wood. He's cut most of the pieces over here are piling up. And we've realized we've got a couple other things we need. We need to grab a rasp to get off the little rough edges, and some sandpaper. So we'll do that after this last cut. We've also got to drill a hole in the front. But Emerson, this is the top, right? Success. All right, we're getting near the finish line on this. We've got the house sort of put together without any fastening, and you can see a couple of tasks left. One is to put an opening in the house on the front, and then before assembling, Emerson will use the rasp and some sandpaper to smooth out the edges. For the case of the house wren, I think we chose a 1 1/4 inch drill bit because that is also appropriate for chickadee, titmice. So there may be some other birds who will visit this. The key here is the size of the opening and the distance from the floor of the house. So this is going to be put up 4 to 6 inches above the floor of the house. So that's the next step, and we'll take a look at that. All right, we're drilling guide holes now for the screws. That wasn't really part of the plan, but the first screw we put in split the wood, and in fact, the second screw we put in split the wood. So these holes are actually going to help invite the screw in without having the wood actually split. And we're also putting a little bit of a countersink on the top, since these are screws have a wood screw top. They when the head presses into the wood, it might want to split them. So we're just going to use a larger drill bit, just barely, so that the head of the screw has somewhere to go. All right. Emerson, it's attached to the front of the house. This is the back of the house. The bottom is attached. You can probably see there's a screw there. And we are going to put the top on after this. And there goes the neighbor. Hopefully that doesn't start. It may break free to finish the last step. All right. Okay, I mentioned we split the wood, so that meant that we had to re-glue it. And Emerson, hold up the house so we can see it from the front. We've got to put the top on next, and we'll look at the finished product in one moment. Thanks, Em. All right, here we are. Emerson is finishing attaching the top to this birdhouse. This birdhouse is set. You could paint it if you wanted to. There is a hole on the top and the bottom of the back piece, so this can be attached to a fence post, to a tree trunk. It's ready to go. So hello, house wrens. There's a new vacancy in the neighborhood. Hope you'll move in. Thanks all for joining us. Thank you, Emerson, for your handiwork. And I hope we see you all again soon, and everybody stay healthy and safe.